is Daniel. I'm from Next Best Picture. It is such a pleasure to talk with you about the music of Highest to Lowest. There is so much to talk about because the music of this movie is so integral to the story. So I can't wait to dive in with you both. I figured the best place to start is the song. I want to start with talking about the song Highest to Lowest. Aiyana, you don't enter the film until the very end, but your performance really sends the audience out on a high with your incredible song. Tell me about the moment. How did this come to be? How did you get connected with Spike?
It's a unreal story. But he DM'd me on Instagram. He discovered me on Instagram, which is mind-blowing. Don't know how that happened. Don't know how the algorithm somehow put me on this page. But I had written this song in my room called My Idols Lied to Me, and it went very viral. And he reached out on Instagram. He's like, "This is the real Spike Lee." I'm like, thinking it's a fake account with a little check mark. I'm like, nah, that cannot be the legend himself, Spike Lee. I'm like, nah, it can't be true. And I woke up my mom at 6 a.m. and I was like, yo, I think Spike Lee DM'd me, and she thought I was totally insane. But then I saw him in the flesh that same day, and I was like, okay, it is him. Love this. Wasn't scammed. So, he didn't start with telling me about the project or what was going on. He's very mysterious, which I think also makes things feel more real and organic and less pressure. He doesn't want you to go into the situation, you know, um, with that pressure. And I felt so much more calm and at ease that I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, and a few months go by and he's like, here are some sides for this project. Memorize these. So it was very, very a great process. It was so cool to kind of uncover what was going on bit by bit. And then the song came about, and after 10 songs that me and my mom wrote, it was like, we were trying to really find what would be the most impactful. And Spike was really meticulous about what he wanted for it.
Yeah, you said a couple months go by and you got those sides. I was gonna ask how soon in the process you realized or found out that this wasn't just to have, a song on the
Yeah,
soundtrack or whatever,
yeah.
but that this was an actual role you were going to act and perform in the film. How soon did you find that out?
I feel like late in the game. Like really late in the game. Um, I've always wanted to act. It's been a long, lifetime dream of mine, but it wasn't something that I didn't know how it would ever come about. I was like manifesting in my mind. I was like, someone's gonna have to discover me in some crazy way for this to like make this dream come true. And it was months and months after I had initially met him that, randomly called me. He's like asking all these questions. He kind of includes things that I said in the sides. And then he sends me these sides and he's like, memorize this, have it done by Sunday. You're going to be with my casting people and me, and we're going to do this. And I was like, okay. And then I read for him, and, he was just like, let's get some Jordans. I was like, so he didn't tell me I got anything. He didn't say, oh, you got the part. Again, like I think another month or so went by, and he calls me and he's like, you're going to be on set with Denzel Washington. And so I think that came first. And then at some point he was like, we're going to need a song, and it's going to be a big moment in the film. It's going to be a very, very pivotal, climactic kind of wrapping of what the whole story was and what the messaging was. And so, it was really important to dial in. It took 10 songs to get there.
That's incredible. 10 songs. That's a lot.
Album of Spike Lee joy stashed in the computer. Yeah, but it was so fun. It was so fun. It's so rewarding.
Well, Howard, I know that you produced the track with Aiyana as well. How early on were you involved with the songs of the film, aside from your role as composer?
Pretty early on, the song with Aiyana was the first thing that Spike called me and asked me to work
Oh,
on.
no way.
Yeah, and I didn't even know I was going to score the film. Much like
Wow.
he just gave me a call one day and said, "Can you help her?" And it all happened very, very quickly. Aiyana's just a natural, so we were in the studio probably what, within a week?
Probably.
Less than a week?
Probably.
I mean, and we flew to the set, I think a few days after that. I think from the time
Yeah.
it happened all so fast.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit in the dark exactly what was going on as well too, which is very much the way Spike does stuff. It's very, very, very mysterious.
Uh-huh.
And but in the end, it was such a fabulous experience. And for me, to be able to go to the set, which is pretty rare for composers to be down there, it was an incredible experience. And watching Aiyana do her thing with Denzel in the room, I was amazed. Take after take after take, she was just killing it. And so it was really an amazing experience. And afterwards, Spike had this idea for that scene, a brainstorm. He called me up one morning. Actually, it was during the time when I was scoring the film. And he said, how about if David, Denzel's character, is imagining the parts coming into the song as Aiyana's singing it? And so that's what led, to adding orchestra on top of it, as David is hearing, kind of fleshing this out, how he would treat this song in his mind. And, I have to say, when I first put it together and mocked it up, on that shot, that wide shot, Aiyana, with your arm?
Yeah.
It floored.
Oh, wow.
And I called Spike up. It was done later that day, and I called him up. I was just so excited because for me, it just took that scene up even yet another notch.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it was probably the highlight for me of the whole project.
Well, that's pretty sad. I didn't expect you to say you worked on the songs before even knowing you were composing the film. Was
Both
that
songs? Yeah.
How soon did it transition from working on that song to scoring the actual film? Like, when did you know that was a part of the equation here too?
I didn't know until I had done arrangements for Aiyana's song and the end credit song, which I can't quite pronounce. Americano joint.
Yeah.
And it was after that, Spike called me up one day and said, I want you to compose the score for the film. And I was just blown away. What an amazing opportunity for me. And he asked me to come down to the set and just kind of see what's going on. So I got to go down there for another couple of days, which was an incredible experience. Watching him do his thing with his crew is amazing. And I would say there was probably a month in between because I had to wait for them to be finished filming, and then we start to get rough cuts and I can start seeing picture. But the songs were really done first, including the two pieces that I worked on with Fergus McCready. We Got This and The Chase. Those were actually done first as well. So like kind of all the big moments in the film, I got out of the way initially. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah, and all of those moments are very, very impactful in the story. The chase is, just such a highlight of the film. That entire sequence is really stunning. What was your approach to the sound of that whole sequence?
Well, that particular sound, it's interesting how it came about. Spike also found Fergus on Instagram at his studio, and I think he had much the same reaction. He had much the same reaction as Aiyana, thinking,
yeah, for sure.
I'm a Scottish jazz musician from Glasgow. Not the first place you think of for jazz, but Spike called him up and he sent me a few of the tracks and said, and he was mysterious about it. Hey, what do you think of these? Love it. What are you doing this weekend? Let's go to Edinburgh, Scotland, and meet these guys. So I'd never been to Scotland either at Spike. I'm not sure we were there for 24 hours. We flew there, saw Fergus play, and immediately flew back. But anyway, we had a lot of work to do. Basically what happened is it was a track from his current release that was out, and Spike gave it to our music editor, Marvin Morris, and he cut it to picture. The picture was longer than the actual track. So he cut it up in a way he thought would fit. And I took that and started playing the drama on top of it. And I cut it up a little bit more to suit my needs and figured out how I would want to ask the band to play it and take solos and so on and so forth. And then played the drama with the orchestra, the chase. So it really was an interesting way to work with a pre-existing track in that way. But I think in the end, it created something very different and unique for that scene, rather unexpected, which I really, it was very exciting to me because it was not how I originally would have scored it. And I told Spike that, but I loved bringing that in. It was something fresh.
It really is. And I love hearing about how mysterious Spike's process is. I think that's so incredible. So back to Highest to Lowest, the song Highest to Lowest, Aiyana, what was the process of receiving direction from Spike and hearing what was he looking for when you guys were talking?
You know, it's funny because I feel like at one point we were talking every single day on this. You know, I think, you know, we were trying to find this happy medium of, you know, soulful, impactful, but not quite a ballad, but not an up tempo, you know. And I feel like, you know, I was writing a lot of ballads, and you know, I was writing a lot of these like big, like random ballads that I was like, this is gonna be this and this is gonna be that. But you know, I think when we got to the core of it, it became more and more soulful, which is something that I think is so important to the story and you know, kind of what David, you know, played by Denzel, you know, I like that contrast and how that kind of, I think, brings forth the messaging even more, that soul, that heart. And I think Spike really just wanted something that felt real and honest. And he wanted me to tell almost like the character as a vehicle for me to also tell my own story, you know, and the lyrics and kind of things that I had been through the last 10 years living in LA has kind of almost prepared me to have something to say in a song like this and in a moment like this. And, you know, thank goodness I had also my mom who came up with the initial, you know, few chords for this. And it was cool to just go back and forth and have him on the phone really kind of guiding and having such a unique perspective, and also just giving me as an artist, for what I felt like the first time, a voice, which I feel like so often, you know, things are so manufactured and contrived in you know, music, in the industry portion of music. So I feel like I really got to play more in this film and I got to be more myself. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in film. I feel like often directors are they're like, I want this. This is what I want. Give me this. And so to hear it be a lot more playful and figuring it out is really remarkable.
I would say
I love him. He's great.
I would say too that, you know, adding on to what Aiyana said, as with the song, it's that way with the score too. Spike is very collaborative and very giving of himself, and he allows you to explore. And he also allows your contribution. That's why he picked you. He wants your contribution. But you know, he makes me better. I feel like he made the song better. I know Aiyana had several songs, but this really was the right one because it encapsulated in the end David kind of finding his relevancy again and returning to his roots, which was soul music.
Yeah.
So the collaborative, I can't say enough how wonderful it is to work with someone like Spike who has great musical instincts.
Yeah.
And is able to really bring something to the table.
I did want to ask about Spike's musical instincts because he is a very musical director. His films have a distinct rhythm, distinct tempo, and it's easy to spot that, you know, in the final product. But for both of you, two musicians who have worked with him now on multiple projects for you, Howard, how did he bring you on board to the rhythm of Highest to Lowest, if that question makes sense?
I'll let you take the reins for this one.
Well, the rhythm really, it starts with his direction, and it continues with how the film is edited. Because what I look for when I see the picture, when it comes to me and I'm in the scoring process, is I look for a rhythm. I look for a rhythm in speech, the way the actors are playing the scene. I'm not someone that's just looking to hit cuts. I don't want to I don't want to try and turn it into a two-hour music video. So I'm looking for the rhythm of the scene, what's going on emotionally, the pacing of the characters, how they're speaking, how they're moving, so on and so forth. So I think that that's just innate in what Spike does, and the wonderful editors that he works with, namely Barry Alexander Brown and Allison, who also worked with Barry on this, are just fabulous at editing in a rhythmic way.
Love that. It's cool to see your process as well, Howard, how the composition, the score coming to life, because I felt like that was such a unique part of this film, like such a heartbeat. Yeah. And I feel like finding that rhythm for every scene, it was so entertaining. Like it felt like the score was part of what was happening.
Well, I should say that with Spike is very much into melody. He wants melody in his films, and I'm sure if you've watched Spike Lee films, you know that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that happens. Is when I found out I was going to score this, and on other projects I've worked with him, he sends you a script, and you read the script, and based on that script, you write character themes. And much like Aiyana's process, where she writes a bunch of songs, and I write a bunch of themes on piano, and he picks. This is okay. I want this theme for this character, and I'll write a number of David themes, a number of Pam themes, and he'll pick the themes. And when it comes time to scoring the film, I will write the scenes with those themes in particular. So that's another very important part of collaborating with him as well.
Well, both of your work is so, like I said at the top, it's so integral to the film itself. A film that is so about music in so many different ways, as well as it is about the plot that we're seeing unfold. But you both stepped into something new here. Aiyana, of course, your first film role and writing a song for a film like this, and Howard composing your first Spike film. Obviously, you're not new to the world of composing, but it is your first time composing for Spike. What did you both learn stepping into these new roles that you're going to be taking with you into future projects, whatever they may be? Aiyana, we'll start with you.
Oh my goodness. It's a lot. It's very layered. I think giving myself now the permission to express myself fully, because I feel like this kind of, not to say it gave me the validation, right? At all. But having someone like Spike, firstly, not just as a figure, but as a person, as a human being who's just a great guy and a visionary, encourage you, felt like a gateway for me to be able to, be more raw in my music, and also just be more free in what I want to explore in life. Working with Denzel, even just on the acting side, being so present with him in the room taught me so many things, and how to just be grounded and present and in the moment, and the advice that they've both given me, and also just the support. It's so rare to find people that are genuinely supportive, especially at that caliber. I think I'm taking away, that a lot of, firstly, a lot of the really talented people are humble. That's the truth. For what I have seen, the most talented, spectacular visionaries of this world are just, a lot of them, great people, and I love seeing that. And also, just now I feel like I can give myself the permission to, be myself to the fullest, because that's what will actually bring you the real opportunity, and it'll also bring you your soul tribe, I believe.
Wow. I don't know what to say after that. I mean,
condense it, but
I just couldn't agree more. I mean, you know, firstly, just to be able to work with Spike and his crew, it's always an honor. And I've had the pleasure of working with him and knowing him since 2001 or 2002.
Wow.
But in a number of capacities as orchestrator for Terrence Blanchard. And through the years, Spike has asked me to work on more and more things in different capacities. And I just have to say, I always have to pinch myself, you know, and I would echo what Aiyana says as well, that he's genuinely the most generous, nice person I think I know, and giving of himself and giving you room to explore as an artist and do your thing. I think they broke the mold with Spike, and I'm not sure there'll ever be another one.
Absolutely.
And as far as what I learned, I mean, every project I always learned something, and I learned a lot on this project because the scope of it. It's certainly the largest project I've ever done as a composer. I've worked on projects of that scale, but not as the guy. So, you know, I certainly learned a lot, for sure. You know, managing a lot of different people, doing a lot of different things. I don't have a big staff of people. Aiyana's been to my studio. It's me, my wife, my dogs, you know, my kids running around, you know. I don't have, you know, so for me, it was exciting, and it was just a great learning experience doing something at that level, and learning some of the pitfalls and certainly some of the and seeing how rewarding it is. It's been an incredible experience.
Well, that is incredible to hear about both of your experiences with Spike. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for sharing more about the film, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.